Content warning. Tone Deaf is rated explicit for mature content and strong language. Spoilers are in every episode, so if you haven't seen the shows we are reviewing, you can always check back in later with us. We'll be here when you get back.
Welcome to Tone Deaf, a theater nerd's guide for their musically challenged...
Have a happy new year.
I'm so sorry.
Have a happy,
I'm Kay, theater
new
nerd.
year.
This is Warren.
Have a happy new year.
So we're releasing a bonus episode.
Yeah! Have a happy new year.
Da 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 da. Have a happy new year.
So Kay had asked me previously if I had seen this show that we are recording. I realized that I probably saw it when I was in daycare, like
Oh wow,
forever ago,
Mm-hmm.
because you know it's harmless for children, other than having you know.
The show Warren is talking about is Rudolph's Shiny New Year. It is the only truly New Year's musical that I could think of off the top of my head. And,
it doesn't age well?
No. No.
It doesn't age well. I don't know if it was
I think
relevant then?
So-
1976?
Yeah, 1976. So this is a Rankin-Bass feature. They are also responsible for the Rudolph the Red-Nosed... Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer that everyone knows and loves. Little Drummer Boy, Nestor the Christmas Donkey, Here Comes Peter Cottontail, 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, Adventures of Santa Claus. Like, they are firmly in First Christmas Snow. They are firmly in Little Drummer Boy. They're firmly in Little Drummer Boy 2. They are... I'm not kidding.
The Revenge.
There is a sequel. But they are firmly in the holiday market. And some of their holiday movies that are not Christmas can be good, like Peter Cottontail. Some of them can be like Rudolph and Frosty's Christmas in July, which the best thing about it is Frosty's depression over the fact that he's gonna be fucked. Him, his wife, and his kids.
Frosty can fuck?
Yeah, Frosty can fuck.
Frosty has snow sperm?
He has a carrot. And not just for a nose.
Mm-hmm. Just don't know how that... Anyway.
And that one, the best thing about it is that Ethel Merman's in it. But this one, Rudolph's Shiny New Year, is an adventure. So it was funny too, because Shay was also being like, oh my god, I've seen this.
Yeah, I don't know where they would have seen it, because her and I are 10 years apart.
Yeah.
I'm fairly certain I saw this when I was going to daycare, so 5-ish. You know, I'm fairly certain that's when I saw it. I may have seen it on TV at some point, being in syndication. That might be where Shay saw it as well.
Yeah.
I just don't know, because this particular one is so not worth it that it doesn't stick with you, and really doesn't... You don't sit here and go, oh, I remember where I was when I saw Rudolph's Shiny New Year.
Or it sticks with you in a, what the fuck did I just watch sort of way.
Well, see,
as it did with me.
Yes, it does that, but the thing is that eventually that fades with time, and all you're left with are the echoes of certain things, like the baby with the big ass ears and Eon the giant bird.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those ones I remember. I remembered those for whatever reason, even though I didn't realize I remembered them until I saw them, and then I went, hey, I remember those.
I think that I truly first saw this back when ABC Family was first doing their 25 Days of Christmas. And this one is always in the rotation. This one and Rudolph and Frosty's Shiny New Year. Or, not Rudolph and Frosty's, Jesus Christ. That Reservado stuff is kicking in already.
It's potent.
It's very potent.
Fragrant. The first sip kind of kills the surface level taste buds, and then the second sip, you're like, oh, this isn't so bad.
Yeah.
I bought it for the bottle.
The bottle's so fucking cool. So fucking cool. But yeah, this, I remember seeing this and Christmas in July, and they're about on the same level for me with how I feel about Rankin-Bass specials. That they are the weird ones that I remember them because they're so weird.
I feel like they're the weird ones that they were like, hey, we have to pay our mortgage.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
Let's make another thing that we can sell to Christians to capitalize on Christmas.
Except 1 million BC, I think, was capitulating to both. As in the character 1 million BC.
Oh.
Because
I have some jokes about him, too. Do you have anything you'd like to say before we get into this?
I love you, and I'm so sorry.
I love you, too. I love you, too, and I will forgive you next year.
That's what, I can't math. 10 hours?
Yeah, about that.
10 hours from when we're recording this.
So, this movie starts off with a blizzard, the likes of which mere mortals were not meant to endure. This blizzard is taking place in the North Pole, so luckily Santa and his band of elves seem to be have a high level of frost resistance because they live there. Santa is in his home receiving a letter from one of his pointy-eared mini-slaves. The letter reads that the baby New Year is missing, and if the baby is not found, the old year will continue. That has significantly more meaning this year than I think a lot of other years. So I will give the show points for that if there was a situation they were like, guys, the 2021 baby is missing! If we don't find it, 2020 is going to continue into next year. People would be like, find that baby!
It's true.
Yes. So
nobody laugh at baby 2021. Baby 2021 is the cutest fucking baby you've ever seen.
Baby 2021.
Hey, you gotta come see the baby.
I will pick up that baby.
Can we feed baby 2020 to a dingo or something?
I think that baby 2020 should be sent to Eon's island.
Well, yeah, baby 2020 needs to get its own island, and then we can do some more nuclear testing on that island.
That would be the one island that Rudolph wouldn't check.
That would be the island that all the other islands want nothing to do with. Nobody sends
that
them
one in
invitations.
2016. Those are the two islands.
I mean, 2016 was pretty shitty, but I don't think it can hold a candle to 2020.
No.
2020 will go down in history as being one of those years.
You'll go down in history.
Do you want a throat punch? Because that's how you get a throat punch.
The one time Warren doesn't want me to sing.
I guess that's fair. Okay. So, Santa voluntells Rudolph that he's got to go find the baby New Year, and he has only 6 days to do it. Santa just yeets Rudolph out the door, offers no help. Santa isn't like, hey, let me get the other reindeer. Maybe some elves. We'll dispatch search parties and comb the world until we find the New Year. Nope, none of that. Just instead, it's like, it's Rudolph, the child reindeer, set off to do it all by his lonesome. Good thing he has that light bulb on his face. Sniff out the baby New Year, I guess? No,
well,
I know it's like, shine a light in the snowstorm to find the baby.
Yeah.
Good plan, fat man. Like, anyways, the scene changes to Father Time, who, has a scythe.
Yeah.
Like the Grim Reaper.
It's similar to how I don't know if you've seen it in a lot of cartoons where they'll show the old year being this old man holding a scythe, and then the new year as a baby.
No,
that's where that imagery comes from.
I can understand the logical progress of that. Mm-hmm. Like I can get it. It still is a little weird to see Father Time being like, I have a scythe. You know that thing that's stereotypically associated with the bringer of death, the reaper of souls, the harvester of men. I have that.
I mean, he does harvest, you know. He harvests the...
He uses his scythe to harvest the sands of time, because that scythe is really good at pulling in those grains. Granules.
We never find out how a baby New Year is chosen.
I have some jokes about that.
Awesome.
What are your thoughts? How do you think a baby New Year is chosen?
Whoever can duck the scythe.
Whoever ducks the fastest. He just sweeps back and forth. It's like musical chairs, but deadlier.
I'm sure that there's a reason for... they also kind of imply that Father Time is the current year.
They kind of did. Like, it's just the mantle just passes, you know?
Yeah.
Like Father, it's like the spirit is reincarnated into the next vessel kind of thing.
We are thinking harder about this than they did.
It's because we are adults with minds and we're like, we have to try and puzzle this out. Why? Why is it this way?
And I think my reason for thinking so hard about it too is because I know that there is a whole fucking universe, because that's the same Rudolph from Rudolph and Frosty and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And it's a whole universe.
Just back to your how he picks a baby, and so it makes me think of Father Time and his scythe go swish, 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 swish. The babies in the room go duck, duck, die, duck, duck, die, duck, duck, die.
We don't endorse. Sorry for the baby death
jokes. We don't endorse child murder. But these aren't real, and so therefore it's funny.
They're incarnations of time, and 2020 baby was somewhere in there.
We can all agree that the 2020 baby needs some fucking spanking.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways.
Might like it.
God damn it, Kay. Oh, and Father Time has a rust red comb over on top of his flowing mane of silverness.
Because he's voiced by Red Skelton, which dates this
a
lot.
Kind of clashes with his long ass white beard.
That too, but it's one of those things where it's why this one is firmly rooted at the time that it was created, and cannot really I knew who Red Skelton was because my grandparents were old, and I was a late baby. I grew up in the 60s and 70s because my grandparents were raising me that way, and
that was also the media that you were exposed to.
Yeah, that was the media I was exposed to, even though I was born in the 80s. So it's I get it, but most kids wouldn't get that nowadays.
You are an old soul, my dear.
Something like that.
You're an old soul with a young face.
And a cracking, breaking down body. I'm a crumbling temple. Temple of doom.
And passion and love. Okay, so Father Time explains that the missing baby New Year has him concerned, and since Santa and his elves apparently are completely useless, Father Time dispatches a clockwork soldier to help Rudolph. I'm just remembering something about that. We don't see him later. If something happened to him, please point it out when it did, because I don't remember.
He drops him off at the castle, and then
he just yeets off. He's just like,
then
hey,
he just
bye.
Goes off and does his job, and he comes back for the very end.
I'm gonna go find the island that has hookers. Which island is Hooker Island? These clockwork gears don't oil themselves, if you know what I'm saying. But anyways, Father Time dispatches a clockwork soldier to help Rudolph. We never see the two meet up. He's just there all of a sudden, walking with Rudolph. Oh, and at the end of the North Pole is a fucking desert. Like, sand.
Just for this pun.
The Sands of Time is the name of the desert. Luckily, this desert has a talking camel in it. The Great Quarter Past 5 is his name, who was also sent by Father Time as well to help Rudolph. The three set out across the Sands of Time desert and get ambushed by Eon the Terrible! Ah! A horrible giant bird that apparently is looking for the New Year's baby to prevent himself from turning into snow and ice, 'cause he can only live an eon, and his eon is up this year. Ah! And the bird looks... Oh, Shay was so funny when she's...
Yes.
Shay was so funny when she's like, why does he look like a caricature of an anti-Semitic character?
Yeah.
Because he's like... Because he kind of does.
He kind of has some Gargamel vibes.
He kind of does. And he's just...
Which I didn't think about at first, because I was just sitting here going, God damn it, another case where they're going, oh, turkey buzzard, but we're going to use a condor.
And he looks... He's got, like, the serrated beak kind of thing that makes him look kind of dinosaur-ish.
Yeah.
He's bald. He's got a big, boil on his beak to make it look like he's got a warty nose.
Yeah.
It's,
It's problematic.
A little bit.
I sit here, though, and I go, you know what? Getting commissioned for... Because I'm sure that this was done on commission. For a New Year's special, there aren't really any bits of lore that they could easily pull from, so they had to make all of this shit up, and I'm pretty sure they were high doing it.
Or drunk or something.
Or drunk.
Whatever their available substance of choice was, I'm sure. So after the exposition from Quart the Clock Camel, he just tells him to call him Quart, since he's a quarter past 5.
Since you're short on time, just call me Quart.
Yep, actual line. So, Quart the Clock Camel, after the exposition from Quart the Clock Camel, the three book it to the Palace of New Year's. Oh, so the Eon ambushes them and goes after them, but then he's like, "Meh, you're not the baby I'm looking for," and just flies away. If he would have just killed them there, his plan would have won. He would have succeeded.
Yeah.
But, anyways. They travel to the Palace of New Year's, Father Time's humble estate. The party of adventurers meets Father Time, who asks Rudolph if he knows what makes the New Year happen. Father Time explains that every year, a New Year baby is born on January 1st. And as the year goes on, the baby grows up and becomes a child, then an adult, before aging and passing the New Year title on to the next New Year baby, before slipping into oblivion. Where are the New Year's mommy and daddy? Who's pumping out these New Year's babies?
It's a giver situation.
Where is the New Year's sperm? That's what I want to know. Where are the New Year's sperm and eggs? Do they just have, tanks in the basement of that palace, and they're just artificially inseminating these New Year babies? Is Father Time just cloning himself in the basement? I'm thinking about this too much. Not important to the story, I guess, but I know what is the New Year diamond. It works just like the ball in New York, and it dictates the new year for everyone in existence. But Father Time fears that the diamond won't drop this year. He also explains that the baby New Year was born with big-ass ears, and he got laughed at by everyone. Feeling shame like only a baby can, the New Year baby fled into the desert. As babies often do. But apparently...
Peter Pan.
Well, he was part bird, so he could fly away. And apparently, the baby also made it to a frozen archipelago, where each New Year baby retires and lives forever and ever. It's like how childhood pets don't die, they just go to live with a nice family in a farm upstate. Same kind of situation, but every New Year baby gets their own magic eternal Peter Pan island way up north.
And it leads to some horrifying thoughts.
Yes, it does.
It's so Americentric.
It very much.
Those archipelagos.
I mean, they do have, the one with knights and castles and stuff. That's very obviously
I guess, okay,
England.
it's Amera and Eurocentric.
I would say it's very Christian-centric. Would probably be the fair thing to say. But anyways.
I'm thinking about culture-wise, because
you
don't see anyone who's not Anglo-Saxon.
Yep. Even when they go to America, you don't see anybody who is not of European descent. Anyways, Father Time tells Rudolph how to get to the archipelago, and Rudolph lights his nose and sets out across the desert. But not for long, because then Rudolph makes it to the sea/ocean and finds a boat just chilling
ocean
there.
Of Auld Lang Syne.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yes, because they couldn't come up with anything else
Auld Lang Syne?
time-wise. Yeah. That's the song that you sing at New Year's. Should old acquaintance be forgotten?
It's called Auld Lang Syne?
Yeah.
Who the fuck comes up with that name? What does Auld Lang Syne mean?
I think it's something German? Maybe?
It would make sense.
I don't know.
Guess. I don't know. I don't speak German.
It's some white language.
It's some harshness language that I don't know. Anyways, Rudolph finds a boat, and he sets out on said boat and sails back in time. Because physics.
Turn back the years.
And as he's sailing on the water, we just see clocks, and it's he's going back in time, BC, just farther and further and further back in time. Because apparently these waters are magic, and traveling on them takes you back in time, because the space-time can, in the words of Doctor Who, it's all wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey, watery boaty stuff. But speaking of physics, Eon the terrible big-ass bird ambushes Rudolph in the middle of the ocean, but it's very, very bad at, swooping down and grabbing Rudolph, which is lucky for the little reindeer, as he's saved by Big Ben, the big-ass whale with a clock in his tail. Big Ben tells Rudolph to get in my mouth, and I'll keep you safe with my jaws. And Rudolph is like,
yeah, I love being in a giant whale's mouth as much as the next magic-talking reindeer, but maybe I should ride on top instead?
Ben's big-ass tail scares off Eon the Terrible, and in no time, Big Ben gets Rudolph to the archipelago, where Rudolph explores an island looking for 1 million. The number, or number of years, or the embodiment of 1 million years, I don't know, it's not really explained, but Rudolph finds 1 million, who looks a lot like a caveman, and has, singing dinosaurs on his island, because both caveman and dinosaurs existed 1 million years ago. Big facts in this cartoon.
So, I think with the 1 million BC thing, they're referencing, the film that's kind of like the Ray Harryhausen films, where you have dinosaurs in with cavemen, and
where they do the live action cavemen fighting stop motion claymation dinosaurs. That stuff.
And so I think that's what they're referencing with that, which I don't know for sure that he worked on it, but because I know that there are 2 versions. There's one with Raquel Welch, which I don't think they're referencing, and then one where they glued sails onto dinosaurs.
onto iguanas.
Or onto iguanas, yeah.
Look like dinosaurs.
Yeah, and, oh man, poor things.
Well, you know what I think? I think that this was written by young Earth creationists. But 1 million years is too old for that, so it must have been made by some Middle Earth creationists. But that doesn't work because there's no orcs, so... These are the real plot mysteries Rudolph should be trying to figure out, but he's not, because he's a tool of the man, looking for Baby New Year still, who apparently was here on 1 Million's island. So keep in mind, Baby New Year snuck out of the Palace of Time, crossed the desert, made it to the water, managed to take a ship of some kind, a boat that he fashioned himself, to the island.
They're the reverse of Baby Yoda, where they develop very quickly because they only live a year.
I guess. This kid's very, very competent. And while he was on 1 Million's island, he saved a baby pterosaur egg from getting smashed.
Not a pterosaur.
Wait.
That was a goddamn dragon. I don't care what they said.
So I missed it. They said pterosaur, but I was typing and I didn't see it. Okay.
I think they said pterodactyl, but it's not even pterodactyl. It's a dragon.
And it's not as Kay will say, pterosaurs and pterodactyls are not dinosaurs, they are lizards.
Mm-hmm.
But even dinosaurs were...
Well, they're not quite lizards either, but anyway.
Flying reptiles.
They're flying reptiles.
I spoke incorrectly.
Yes. Sorry.
I must placate your paleontologist brain. Otherwise, our lovely listeners will get an impromptu paleontology lecture.
And I'm putting those off as long as possible.
But even dinosaurs are dicks to the baby, and they make fun of his big-ass ears.
They don't have any external ears, so I could see that would freak him out.
So the baby, understandably, makes a boat out of a large shell, and he left.
A shell that they call a conch shell.
Conch shells are like the really twisty ones, right? The end of the point?
Yeah.
This was like a clam shell.
This was a clam shell. So he killed a clam and climbed in its shell.
A conch shell would not be very buoyant. I don't even think a clam shell would either. But, hey, this baby has got one hell of a will and a destiny, apparently. This is one capable baby.
Mm-hmm. They gotta be. Like I said, they only live a year.
They don't stop shitting their pants till around May. Anyways, there are only 3 days left before the end of the new year, or the end of the old year. And Rudolph finds his way to Island 1023, an island full of castles and knights in shining armor, as Rudolph, 1 Million, and Sir 1023 set out to search the island for Baby New Year. Father Time graces our ears with another song about what a wonderful world we live in, 'cause fairy tales are real. And we see our adventurers encountering a bunch of different fairy tale characters. The 3 Little Pigs and Cinderella, as well as Humpty Dumpty, who looks cracked to shit. Even the 7 dwarves tell Rudolph to fuck off, and Rumpelstiltskin cries about how no one wants to stay with him. But Baby New Year is closer than they knew.
He says, babies won't stay with me, and that's a really good nod to the Rumpelstiltskin tale.
Well, because he steals babies, right?
Yeah.
He offers promises to people in exchange for their firstborn child.
Yes. One thing that I love, though, is that, you have the prince giving Cinderella the shoe, and you have Humpty Dumpty falls off the wall, and it's like, this is an endless loop of hell. Every day is the same day.
I guess it would only be an endless loop of hell if you weren't aware. If you were conscious of the loop day in and day out.
Probably 1023 knows that it's the same day every year.
It's his island, so
because as we're about to find out, they can choose any day to be the day that's always.
I thought it was the year that they presided
over.
Well,
it's any day of that year.
Oh,
because of the next person that they run into after they get off this hellhole of an island.
Yeah, if I was a New Year's baby, it would be, I don't know, what day was it that I stumbled into the experimental blowjob robot factory? And that'll be the day that I repeat over and over again. That may get edited out.
It may not.
Anyways, the New Year's baby wanders into the 3 bears' house and eats their food and breaks their furniture before finding a bed to crash in. Not even an adult and already a well-traveled criminal. The bears come home and are like, "Someone's been here, eating our food and sitting in our chairs. They ate my child's food and broke his chair. What kind of sick fucker breaks into a house and eats the baby's food?" The bears investigate further and find Baby New Year sleeping in the baby bear's bed. And they're like, "Aw, he's cute." And Baby Bear is like,
"I've always wanted a pet."
And Baby Bear leads New Year's baby out to play Knights and Dragons. And Baby Bear is like,
"I'm a dragon. Baby New Year, slay me with your stick."
And he does. Baby Bear tells Baby New Year to take off his hat, or helmet, and declare his victory. But Baby New Year's doesn't want to, 'cause his freak ears. Peer pressure wins out, though, and Baby takes off his hat so he can show his freak ears. And
Baby
he gets laughed at.
Happy.
Baby Happy, yeah, 'cause Happy New Year.
His name is Happy.
Yeah. And he takes off his hat, and he gets laughed at because of his freak ears. And then he gets sad and leaves again. Rudolph and the gang continue their search and almost find the baby New Year, but Eon the Terrible has swooped in and snipes the baby out from under them. The gang piles into Big Ben and give chase after Eon. Apparently, Big Ben has a motor in his clock tail because he can swim almost as fast as Eon can fly, because physics. Because everybody knows that wind resistance and water resistance are relatively the same. That's why
he doesn't have to go under at all.
Because that's why motorboats will always go almost as fast as airplanes. It's just a fact. Everybody knows that. Anyways, Big Ben is also a Pokemon, it turns out, and he uses Water Gun to strike Eon, who drops baby New Year. And as the baby falls, the wind blows, and the baby's carried away because he's holding onto his hat as he falls, and the wind apparently catches the rim of his hat and whisks him away. The baby is carried away to Benjamin Franklin.
Yep.
Who is flying his kite.
Tone deaf alumnus.
See, and I can't call him Big Ben because there's a Big Ben in this. Normally I would call Benjamin Franklin Big Ben, but I can't. The baby lands in Ben Franklin's arms, and he explains that here, every day is the 4th of July. Post-Revolutionary War, but there are bandaged soldiers in the parade, and
because it's 4th of July, 1776.
Is my assumption. But no black people anywhere.
It's so messed up.
I guess, among the clockwork camels and the clockwork soldiers and the immortal birds and the giant whales and the Father Time, having black people just seemed too unrealistic for this. Anyways, the baby is enjoying the parade.
Speaking of black people, there is one Rankin-Bass film that I can point to that has them. It's their 2D animated 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, and it's still a little problematic
I was gonna
ask
if they're drawn in a way that's minstrelly.
No, but it's the side of town that they're allowed in.
Allowed in because segregation.
It's what it feels kind of like. I remember watching it as a kid and being like,
But anyways.
Yes.
The baby is enjoying the parade, and Ben Franklin is like, "Take off your hat or you'll disrespect the flag." And the entire crowd laughs at the baby and his big-ass ears. Apparently the baby ran away again, but off-screen, as we see Rudolph and the adventurers talking to Ben Franklin, who's like, "Oh, we didn't mean to hurt the little freak's feelings, but oh my god, did you see those big-ass ears?"
I feel, and I should point out, he's not called Ben Franklin in this. He is called 1776, or Sev. That is what they call him.
I missed that.
Yeah,
But he's Ben Franklin.
He is Ben Franklin. He looks like Ben Franklin. He talks like Ben Franklin. He probably fucks like Ben Franklin.
You know what's weird about that? Ben Franklin wasn't born in 1776.
No, he wasn't.
So that implies that there's either two Ben Franklins on this island, or 1776 killed Ben Franklin and took his identity.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also god of this little island, so he can make it whatever he wants. I don't know. The world building in this isn't very concise or well formulated, so it's all up to speculation.
It's a paycheck.
I have to pay my mortgage. The gang sets out to find the baby again. But again, Eon, the terribly more effective at baby napping, has nabbed baby New Year again. And he flies away to the island of no name.
Mm-hmm.
And he flies away to the island of no name, which is north of the North Pole, and apparently never sees sunlight. It is a frozen hellhole of a wasteland, and this naked baby is just chilling on this frozen island.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, all makes sense so far. Rudolph and his useless band of chodes continue north to the island of no name, which, if you're calling it that, then that's its name. That's how names work. You use them to describe something, and if you're describing an island as the island with no name, then that's its fucking name.
It's like No Name Colorado.
Understand? Good! Anyways, Rudolph is singing about keeping the faith. Faithfully. Because faith can get you through anything. Cool. Big Ben Franklin, 1 million, Sir 1023 or 1032, whatever the fuck his name is, and Rudolph slap dick dumb fuck their way to the island that definitely has a fucking name, as we've discussed. And they tell Rudolph to turn off his fucking nose so that they can sneak up on Eon. Which they do, sorta. They cause some ice to fall, which wakes up Eon.
Not they. 1 million causes ice to fall. He fucks up.
1 million.
1 million is fucking useless. They're all fucking useless. This should have just been Rudolph on his own.
You know, I feel like Rudolph needs to have them with him just because that way his odds of survival go up, you know?
As we see in a moment.
So Eon wakes up, and Eon causes an avalanche to try and dispatch our heroes. Eon cackles, saying that the avalanche buried our heroes alive, and now that Baby New Year will stay there forever as his unpaid employee who gets no benefits.
His slave.
He says his slave. You will stay here as my slave. And Eon will live forever as a result. Anyways, our heroes are in giant snowballs, because that's how avalanches work. And Rudolph uses the thermonuclear power of his nose bulb to melt the snow of his prison and escape.
Hey kids, are you stuck in a snowball? Go to your store and get General Electric Rudolph Nose. Burn your way out of any situation.
Stick it up your ass and rub your hands together to create electricity. And then Rudolph, after he escapes, he then leaves. And just leaves the others.
Yep, leaves them to fucking die.
To their fate. Forever sealed away in ice.
It's like, fuck you guys.
Yeah. He's like, well, you should have had a thermonuclear nose. Rudolph then sneaks up on Eon's nest and talks normal volume to Baby New Year. And is like, are you sad because you're a freak? Because of your freak ears? I used to be sad because of my freak noise. Freak nose.
My nose is starting to turn a little red, I think.
We're freaks together. Father Time then interjects and proceeds to give Rudolph's backstory. You know, the one we all sang in school as children. The one that climaxes with Rudolph being accepted by Santa once he was of use to him, due to his freak nose.
And this version completely glosses over how much of a dick Santa is in the 1960s.
Because it's a recap.
Special.
It's basically just the song, the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yeah, but Santa was an ass.
Na, 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 na.
Rudolph should have been like, what you gonna give me? What you gonna give me?
I don't think Rudolph was necessarily in a bargaining position, because if Christmas doesn't happen, it doesn't necessarily, it mostly damages Santa's PR, but then they would have...
And Santa, above all, is a PR man.
He is a PR man. But if Rudolph hadn't used his nose so bright to guide his sleigh that night, then all the reindeer wouldn't have loved him. So it was in Rudolph's best interest to play ball in the hopes that he could, you rub my back, I'll rub yours.
But in the mythology of this particular Rudolph, Clarice already loved him, and that was the only thing that mattered.
Okay.
Which Clarice disappears after that special.
Oh, I have something to say about that.
You have some comments about Clarice?
So...
Hello, Clarice.
After Rudolph has some freak solidarity with Baby New Year, Rudolph is like, so, once I was suddenly of use, I found myself in a privileged position, and I'm gonna get to lay all the reindeer pipe once my balls drop, because Santa wants me to spread this glow-nose gene around, so he'll never be without his freak show deer. That's why Claire's not around anymore, because Santa was like, you get a whole harem of deer to fuck.
I mean, that is how reindeer work.
New Year's baby decides that it's not so bad to be a freak, and he takes off his hat. And Eon wakes up, and he sees them, and Eon laughs himself to death at the baby's freak ears. Eon laughs himself off his nest down the mountain, hitting every sharp chunk of frozen ice along the way. He lands on the adventurers, freeing them instead of crushing them, and then he laughs and laughs by the frozen waterside. All of their effort is for naught, though, as Big Ben's tail dings 12.
And he does mention that because he laughed, this was the first time he ever laughed in his life, and so now his heart is warm enough that he won't turn to ice and snow. So this whole thing could have been solved.
They should have just sent a fucking cloud to Eon and been like, hey, Eon, you want to hear a dick joke?
Oh my god, like...
Hey, Eon, there once was a man from Nantucket.
Hey, Neon, I fucked your mom last night. Shut up, Shorzy!
Give your cloaca a tug, tit fucker. But yes, all of their effort is for naught as Big Ben's tail dings 12, and all is lost. Their entire adventure is for nothing. Or it would be, but Santa swoops in to save the day, since he has magic powers and can distort space and time to get Baby New Year back to Father Time just in time. So it's midnight, and he's got to get Baby New Year back to the Time Palace before the 12th ding of midnight. And he does. From the island with definitely a name, he gets him back to the Time Palace via his sled full of reindeer and his ability to bend space and time, and that's how he makes it around the world in one night, which is what he talks about. So, okay, Santa, let's play it your way.
Santa.
Okay,
Santa,
okay, Santa, okay, Santa. So Santa, why the fuck didn't you use your super fast time traveling powers in the beginning to do all this shit sooner? Santa instead just kicks Rudolph out. Okay, go wander around in this blizzard with your light bulb nose, you freak, and look for a baby who's thousands of miles away.
Yeah.
I'll chill here and fuck Mrs. Claus, and then I'll remember that I have this flying sled, and that I also have time powers, and then I'll come help you.
Mm-hmm. You know who could have done this instead? And had the abominable snowman moment in this one? Is Eon. Eon could have done that.
Well, I don't know if Eon can fly fast enough to get back to the Time Palace by the 12th.
He's made of time.
Is he?
He is a time bird.
They just said that he lives for an eon.
He lives for an eon, but he's got to be made of time if him...
Aren't we all made of time? I don't know. We're all made of stardust. So, is stardust time? Time is sand. Wait. The sands of time were made of stardust. Dust is sand. Therefore, we are made of sand. Oh! Look at that pretzel logic. Warren wins.
Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme.
Anyways, everyone celebrates the greatest year. 19 wonderful.
Yeah, I remember screaming at the TV.
The best New Year ever, Kay. Boy, I remember 19 Wonderful. Do you remember 19 Wonderful, Kay? I sure do. So many wonderful things happened that year. Good times, good times. Those times are over now. And we get to the credits. Thank all the pagan gods. This movie is now over. The end.
Oh, God.
So, I know... people might be sitting at home or wherever they are listening to this.
You better be at home.
Going, Warren. I mean, maybe they're listening to this later.
Okay.
We're going, Warren. You judge past works with the filter of modern day, and you do it pretty harshly. I know, because humans have been smart for a long time. We haven't always been knowledgeable for a long time, but we've been smart for a long time. That's how we're always able to invent new things and modernize and progress forward. Some shit is dumb no matter the time. Mm-hmm. And some shit is wrong no matter the time, like slavery and segregation and discrimination. Mm-hmm. So, this show was dumb. I did not enjoy any of it. Kay made me watch it. And I will not forgive Kay until next year.
In 9 hours.
So you're going to have to deal with a very grumpy, very not forgiving Warren for 9 hours.
I've got some ideas to make you forgive me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I forgive you already.
Yay! Yeah, I have this is the one of the weakest of the Rankin-Bass specials in my mind. But there is sort of a, like, I'm gonna give them an A for effort for coming up with a mythology that just pulling it out of their ass, because there's no way that they were on something.
Rankin-Bass were reaching so far up each other's asses to pull this out, they were using each other as puppets.
Yeah, like... This one was so weird.
I don't care for it.
It's so weird.
I really don't. I mean, if you're gonna make up bizarre mythology for your fictional series, put a little effort into it. I feel like this was just first draft through.
They do a better job of it with their Easter one.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
They managed to do Easter with it being completely secular. There is no mention of Jesus, nothing about that. It is purely the Easter Bunny, but it's kind of cool what they do with it. And this, I think that they try to do the same thing, but they fail spectacularly. I think that between this one and Peter Cottontail, though, Henry Selick and Tim Burton have a little bit to answer for. You'll see when we get to the Easter Bunny one, because we're going to totally do that over Easter.
Okay, but, this is supposed to be a mini episode.
This is a mini episode.
And we've covered the show, and I think we're done. I think we're done. It's New Year's Eve, Kay. We need to enjoy New Year's Eve.
Yes, I am so excited, and...
What the hell?
Oh, no.
What? How did they get in here?
Oh, fuck.
Kay, explain, Kay.
Oh, God. One sec. Shit. So, they're saying that we were allowed to cover Jingle Jangle, and they're wondering why we covered this garbage instead of continuing our punishment.
Hey, I'm on your guys' side. I would rather watch that stuff than this stuff.
They don't care, and they also don't care for what you said about their son.
Wait, Eon?
Yeah. Eon, I guess, is the kid of Conandor.
You should have pulled out?
Sorry. So, yeah, they're wondering when we're gonna continue our sentence.
Talk to them. I'm not in charge.
One sec. Okay. Do you want the good news or the bad news?
You deliver the news in the order that you think is best.
Well, I'll deliver you the good news first, then.
Okay.
There's only 14, and we just have 10 left.
What's the bad news?
Not counting any patron episodes, the Warrens, and Black History Month. Guess how we get to start next year?
No!
Happy 2021, guys. Our next regular explicit episode that's not the Warrens is gonna be Land Before Time 4. Journey Through the Valley of the Mist. Yay. I'm sorry.
That'll be it for this week.
That'll be it for this year, too.
Yes.
Please leave a review for Tony 1, which is still better than 19 Wonderful.
So, they've been Kay.
Yep, he's been Warren. We're both in a lot of trouble. And this has been Tone Deaf.
See y'all next year.
I'm gonna finish this whole drink right now.
I'm gonna go hide in the